Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of And Now You Know with Bette and Julz. I'm Bette.
And I'm Julz.
And today we're going to be talking about the power of surrender, letting go, and letting God.
Yep. And it's funny that this has been kind of a common thread lately in both of our lives. Mm-hmm. And so we both feel like it's the Holy Spirit clearly telling us to not spend so much time in worry and doubt and fear and anxiety and just surrendering.
Yep.
And then Jay and I have been reading this book as part of our daily devotion time. And it's called The Language of Letting Go, Daily Meditations on Codependency by Bette. Melody, I hope I'm saying your name right. But we're really enjoying this book. And after Bette and I talked about surrendering, the very next day, this reading came up. I'm just going to read the first sentence, but it says, willpower is not the key to the way of life we are seeking. Surrender is. And it's the truth. It's almost like we hear the truth will set you free. Mm-hmm. Surrendering will set you free. And you have to really let it go and let God have it and get out of God's way.
Yep.
And then our pastor spoke about it on Sunday. It's fascinating. So we decided that we needed to talk about it.
So that's what we're talking about. And so the context of what Julz and I were talking about, first I'm going to say one thing before I go into the context. Over the last few years, and really I would say over the last 4 or 5 years after my divorce, healing journey, all that stuff, I have constantly, that's kind of the thing that has been a constant reminder for me is to surrender, because when your life ends up going in a direction that you never expected, you can't just sit there and cry about it.
It will.
It absolutely will. So for me, it was just learning to just embrace, this is where I am. This is what this looks like, and how do I move forward from here? And so you do end up, I remember sitting in a car and literally having a conversation with God and saying, I surrender. I surrender. Clearly my plan is not working well. I'm sure yours will be better than mine. Mm-hmm. So I'm completely open to guidance. And when you surrender, you have to continue to remind yourself that even when you feel like you have fully surrendered, that's when you have to surrender some more.
Every single day.
Every single day. Because so much happens. And the thing that I have learned, and it's not perfect every day, but it's reminding yourself of gratitude, peace, and joy, and trying to keep yourself there, even when the bleep hits the fan. Yep. Even when it does, you still have to come back to everything happens for a reason. I believe that I am still moving in the right direction, and it will all turn out to be okay. And so the context of why in my life, why this has been coming up so much is, for me, it's dating. And Julz definitely has more examples, but for me, it's dating. And, we have a couple episodes that talk about the dating apps and dating experiences and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I've said this before, I'm very intentional in my dating. And I've had a few disappointing situations happen.
And I think I've been more disappointed than even Bette, because she has put some boundaries around it, and I get so hopeful, and it's almost like how I feel when one of my kids gets disappointed. I'm double disappointed.
She is, because
it hurts my heart for her.
She gets the play-by-play, so she knows every detail of what's going on. And I think the thing is, for Julz, which I love her so much, the thing for Julz is that she knows how awesome I am.
I don't understand how somebody could have an opportunity to have a relationship with Bette and ghost her.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some stupid fools out there, let me tell you.
So the disappointment comes in, and so the ghosting thing. We've talked about ghosting in the past, and I don't believe in ghosting. I think it's a cowardly thing to do.
It is.
And if you're watching, there's 2 guys in particular that have ghosted me. I'm not going to say their names, but I think it's ridiculous. Here's why I think it's ridiculous. They pursued me.
Yep.
I did not pursue them.
She doesn't chase.
I don't chase, and I don't initiate. Typically on dating apps, I don't initiate. So when you have a guy that is pursuing you and he's asking for your number and he's asking to have conversations and he wants to, move it along to like the next thing from the dating apps, then you give numbers and you have phone calls. Sometimes you have FaceTime, sometimes you do texting, whatever the case is, then you go on a date, whatever. So for me, it's like, you're pursuing me, you're asking me for my number, you're asking me when I'm available, you're pursuing me. And then when I say, this is when I'm available, this is when we can connect, this is when we can meet up, and then they ghost, it's ridiculous. Now
Why? Why do you do that?
I don't
Grow
get it.
a set and say, thank you for your time. I don't feel the chemistry that I'm looking for. I hope you find what you're looking for.
But here's the thing. If that's true that you don't feel the chemistry, which is fine. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. If we're not a match, believe me, I've had to send that text to people. When I don't feel the chemistry, I don't ghost people.
It's kind of like real estate. We just need one buyer.
Yes, you just have to be honest with people. The thing that really gets me, and it's I look at it in two ways. But the first thing is that then don't act so interested if you're not. That's the part that infuriates me. If you don't feel the chemistry, if we are not aligned, if I believe in something that doesn't align with your beliefs, I'm not changing me for anybody.
Nope.
And I don't expect anybody to change for me.
No.
So if it doesn't work out, it's okay. But it's the disrespectful, I just think it's a really crappy way to
Quit wasting time.
Yes. Don't waste my time. I won't waste yours. And I just think that it's really rude and that's not really the way you treat people. So number one, don't be a coward. That's number one. But number two, the reality is for me is that I've actually learned every time I feel like there might be any level of interest for me with a person, I always pray a prayer. This is my prayer of surrender. I've said this to Julz many, many times. And I'll tell you right now, this is how I know I'm at peace. When I pray that prayer and I say to God, if this is from you, make it clear and bring it closer. And if it's not from you, remove it any way you see fit.
Immediately.
And you know what? Sometimes ghosting is the way he sees fit. And I'm okay with it because I take it as redirection. I see it as, okay, rejection is God's protection, and redirection is going to move me closer to where I'm really supposed to be and close and to whoever is supposed to be coming towards me, which is fine. But it is the treatment that I just don't understand. I think that there's still a lot of time that's invested, which is really exhausting. There's a lot of time that's invested. You're answering questions, you're asking questions, you're sharing about your background, you're talking about your family, life story, blah, blah, blah. You're sharing all this stuff for someone who then just ghosts. Just say that it's not a match.
We did kind of narrow it down. Yesterday we were talking about it.
Yep. And
I was thinking about Jay and I, and when we first communicated, and he winked at me. He viewed me. He did not wink at me.
Right.
He was the only one I reached out to, and I said, hey, looking for some constructive criticism. Tell me what it was about my profile that made you not wink at me. Why aren't you interested? Well, out of that came, conversations through the app, and then about an hour-long conversation a couple of nights later, and then it was set up for the interview date. So we decided that there don't need to be those long conversations.
Yes.
On the front end, it's like have maybe an hour if you want to.
Yep.
That's long. Then oh my gosh, I gotta go. The kids need me or whatever. Gotta go. Remembered I need to grab something at the store. Whatever. Just get off that call and say let's meet. My time was on Wednesday at 11:30 at a certain restaurant. Can we grab lunch and maybe interview each other, talk, and that's where, we can have direct eye contact, see facial expressions, hear all the tonality, see their personality, and then you decide if you want to get to know them better.
Yeah.
So we decided that we're going to cut out these long conversations. Not we. I don't have to, but she's
no.
But
I agree. Well, so there's two ways of looking at it, and in one instance, it saved me a whole lot of time. I didn't have to go get ready and drive somewhere and spend time. So it's not like it wasn't like I was stood up. It wasn't that. It's just the ghosting of saying that we're gonna talk. We're going to anyway. set up, coordinate time
He said
and
they
place.
were going to meet.
Yes, and we were supposed to be coordinating time and place on our next conversation. Well, we're talking about two different people.
Okay.
We're talking about two different people. One of them absolutely said we were going to meet, and we had confirmed the day, and he said he was going to let me know the time and location.
Yeah,
that was that one. One previous to that said that he was going to be reaching out for us to coordinate time and location and date, which never happened. So there's two ways of looking at it. I think that investing with one of them quite a amount of time, hours and hours on the phone, on FaceTime, doing all of that stuff, that's just a waste of time if in the first conversation or the second conversation you don't feel like something is aligned. Now we're talking about 8 hours worth of conversations.
Right. That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. And I don't think it takes that long.
No.
I think as far as like, do you feel the chemistry or not? If I had said something that didn't feel like it matched with your belief system, then just say it.
Right.
Then be honest and say it. I don't think it takes 8 hours long of a conversation and then 3 or 4 days, of like silence,
marinating
of
in
silence
it.
to then. Yeah, I think it's you're a coward is what it is.
We're all grown ups, and you know.
Yeah, you do know.
You know immediately if it's somebody that you want to spend more time with.
Right. And I want to say one of the reasons why we're having this conversation, number one, because of the power of surrender, because I absolutely do believe, I believe
really
in it.
I'm proud of the level of surrender that Bette has gotten
I
to
believe in it
this.
and I live by it. But the other reason why we wanted to talk about it is because this dating world is extremely challenging and disappointing at times. Now, do I still believe in love? Yes, I do. Do I still believe in finding my person? Yes, I do. So you have that. But
It's different now, though.
it's totally different.
I don't know why.
We compare her stories and my stories, and it is ridiculous, the experiences that I have had.
It makes me go home to Jay every day and go, I am so thankful.
Yeah, well, but that's great.
I don't know how that happened so quickly.
I don't know.
I surrendered.
Right. But you
really
did.
did.
But I have too.
Yeah.
I have too. But the thing though for y'all watching, if you are in the same position as me, because I bring this up because there was a girl on social media who was sobbing, crying, saying, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I keep getting, all of these reoccurring situations where she was getting ghosted, and she was like so hopeful and getting so attached, and then guys would, rip the rug out from underneath her." And I say all of this because it's not you. I don't believe that. I don't believe that if you're the one showing up, if you're the one committed to having a conversation, getting to know someone, I don't think you're the one that's at fault here. I think that you do need to find a level of peace and surrender. And if it happens, okay, well, he wasn't for me, moving on to the next. And be okay with having to pivot and just be okay with it. But at the same time, what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with you, meaning that like when somebody chooses to ghost you, it says more about them than it does you. It's not about you. Sometimes it's about, it's funny, I heard a dating coach say this. Sometimes guys ghost because after they meet you, they realize they are running from the version that they have to become in order to keep you.
Well,
and they are scared shitless of not being able to show up and be that person, so they ghost. So it's really more of an insecurity on them.
Well, and you can get into a relationship and then they will lose a good woman because they don't want to change. And so they go find another one that will
require less.
Require them to be a man and a leader. And women want real men, period. We don't want boy men, man boys or whatever, man child. We don't want that. We want a true man who will lead a family, lead a marriage the way that a man is supposed to lead it. That doesn't mean that she is beneath his feet. That means she is standing solidly right beside him. And he can't diminish her.
Right.
To make him feel like the man.
Well, and that's, you're absolutely right, where that ends up happening where, I would say I am a, pretty strong, independent woman, but I also completely believe in the traditional roles of a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all about girls, girls and girl power and women and elevating and constantly learning and growing. So there is a place for that 100%. But I have operated for so long from a masculine place, from survival mode, that I'm not interested in carrying a man on my back, so that I have to be in this manly survival mode of like having to be the provider and the protector. I'm not interested in doing that.
You'll share in it.
Right, I'll share in it, and I'm very capable of it, clearly.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm looking for. Is a solid man that allows me to feel emotionally safe in my feminine, and be able to have a partner where we can look out for each other.
Right.
Now, what I want is for somebody to be able to match me. And that's what I haven't been able to find, because I'm a giver. And so I have a lot of love to give, and I'm constantly, nurturing and caring and looking for ways to.
Yeah, and you have to watch that and not let it cross the line of codependency.
Right.
And trying to manage and control. Right. Because this goes further into that. I've spent years trying to make emotionally unavailable people be emotionally present for me.
Been there, done that.
Me
Been
too.
there, done that. Totally.
And it's exhausting, and so that's why you truly do have to surrender.
You do have to surrender.
And let them be. But we have to open our eyes up and our minds and our hearts and see these people for who they are showing us they are, and then not chase them.
Right.
We don't chase.
Absolutely. I completely agree with all of that. And the thing is that as we're having this conversation, and specifically about me, like my dating, this is true for everything in your life. This is also true for a job. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's also
We're human.
Also true for a job, where I also feel like this is when you overdo, right? So when you feel like you have to overperform, you have to overachieve because you're looking for the approval and the appreciation and the whatever from somebody else. So it actually bleeds over to different parts of your life where you feel like, when you're dealing with some in your past, in your childhood, when you have dealt with people that were emotionally unavailable, and you have learned to become an overgiver, an overachiever, and we've talked about being a workaholic too. All of those things, because you're constantly looking for that whole thing. And I know that from where I am today in my life, that's definitely not what I'm doing. But one of my favorite quotes that I had heard previously about the same situation is that you have to be very careful when you're an overgiver, because you're an overgiver too. You have to be very careful when you're an overgiver that you don't match up with somebody who takes advantage of that, because there's no limit to what you'll give for somebody that you love. But when you're matched up with a taker, there's no limit to what they'll take.
It's neat when you have a giver match up with a giver.
Absolutely.
That's how me and Jay
Absolutely.
are. We give and we give to each other. And he has absolutely spoiled me rotten, but I don't take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. So, but I had to
it's then
surrender.
Reciprocated.
Oh, absolutely.
See, so that's when it becomes this whole beautiful partnership, and that if it's not that, I don't want it.
No,
I don't need it.
I don't
want
either.
It is that or nothing for me.
Yeah, and I always tell Jay, I've told my sister that if Jay and I end up not being together, it will be because we met that whole death do us part thing, and I met Jay, so I get to check that box, and there's nobody that could replace him. Mm-hmm. Nobody. Mm-hmm. No, he was my person. And so it's worth surrendering all this stuff that is really just a big bag of crap, not chasing it, not worrying about it, and just asking God to protect you and keep you from making a mistake, because that'll just spiritually debilitate you.
Yep.
And that's worse than being ghosted.
Right. And
giving of yourself and then them.
Then yes, after that.
That's worse.
No.
That's worse.
One of the things that's absolutely, not taking it personally, not letting it like offend you. I one of the things Julz has always talked about, saying I trust you, Jesus. I trust you, Jesus. It's so funny because I've totally adopted that.
Yeah.
And so in the morning, every morning I wake up and I open my eyes and I always say that I'm so grateful for today, and I always say I trust you, and I trust in your plan, and I trust in your guidance, and I trust in whatever it is that you have for me. And so instead of now, of course, you're human, so you get a little
You have
annoyed
moments.
and you get a little like, really? Was that necessary? But then at the end of the day, you know that that is a part of the path that is actually clearing out the path. And so for me, I'm not going to stay home and cry about it. Actually, I'm on my way to Spain and Portugal. I'm about to hop a flight tomorrow. I'll be gone for 2 weeks. I'll be living my best life.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know.
I'm codependent on
I
Bette.
am going to miss Julz. But this is what
Can
you
we
have
text?
to. Of course we
Okay,
can.
good.
Yeah. This is what I'm doing with my life. I live an incredible full life with amazing friends, with amazing people in my life, doing the things that light me up, that bring so much joy to my life. I'm traveling the world. It's so funny. This is what I recommend for everybody to do while you're working on and following God's plan, while you're working on that path. Live a full life and go travel and have
Make
great
yourself
friends.
happy.
Yes.
Your happiness is not dependent on a man.
Absolutely.
Or a woman.
Absolutely.
Or your children. You have to create your own happiness, period.
Yep. And concerts are a thing that, like, I went years without going to a concert, probably like 20 years.
Dancing.
And dancing has become so huge for me, but going to concerts is super awesome too.
Yeah.
There's a new residency happening in Vegas that my sister and I are going to go to. It's New Kids on the Block.
All right.
They just announced
Fun.
it. Yes, so I'm so excited. I'm not sure what the dates are yet, but they just announced
Well,
it.
be sure and let me book your hotel.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then Bad Bunny's going to Puerto Rico, and I'm also going to that.
Okay.
So see, there's all these amazing experiences, and if this was like 10 years ago, oh my gosh, remember knocking over all the mugs. If this was like 10 years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I was such a workaholic, and I was such a control freak that I wanted to like force everything to happen the way I wanted it to happen, but I missed out on living.
And
I missed out on so
that's
much.
what we mean about surrendering. Just loosen your death grip on trying to make things happen and understand who you are. It feels like we're primarily talking to women. So straighten your crown and realize that you are the daughter of the creator of the universe. And our lead pastor, well, he's not the lead anymore. His daughter is. But the guy who founded our church on Sunday was talking about surrendering. And he was talking about once you get into that faith pattern, we always ask the Holy Spirit to come and reside inside of us. But we also need to ask for us to reside inside of him. And then we become one. And he said, and then you get into this flow. And so surrender is about getting into this flow. And the scripture in the Bible says, why do you worry? Look at the field of flowers. They're beautiful and they're beautifully dressed. And they're going to be thrown into the fire tomorrow because they're going to be dead. And the birds in the sky, they don't work and toil and control. They just fly around and sing, and God provides for them. And he said, so how much more do you think that I'm going to give to you? If you will surrender.
Yep. Growing up, what you just said, my mom used to say this to me all the time when we were kids. And, we spoke Spanish in my house. And so she would always say, Lo pajaritos no se apuran. And that means the little bird, the birds, they don't have to worry about tomorrow. They have everything they need. And that was her thing all the time, to tell us that we had nothing to worry about. Right. You just have to, just
have
be.
Your faith.
Just be and just keep moving forward and you'll be fine.
Now, I don't believe that we just lay around on the couch and watch Netflix.
Very true.
I think we have to be proactive in designing our lives, but I think that we surrender it, we pray over it, we ask God to bless it. And if he's not going to bless it, then you ask him to take it away and make it super clear to you what you're supposed to be doing. That's what the concept of surrendering is faith, belief, handing it over, and then you keep doing what you're doing. But if you hit a roadblock, then chances are that God's putting a hard stop. I mean, I just know that back in my day of controlling crazy girl, that it makes you crazy. I was really going to say something else and it flew out of my mind like it does sometimes.
It's okay. It'll pop back in
It
in a
will.
second.
It was my mom. She said, I think that you need to get out of God's way. I think that you are blocking God from doing what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to answer your prayers, but you keep going in there and trying to take charge of it again.
Yep. Oh my gosh, you're so right. So first let me say another great way that God works through us is through her for me. Because every time, oh, it's so true.
I love you.
I love you. Every time there's something going on in my life, she like the book that she's reading, like the services that she, the sermons that she's listening to. I have visited her church, but I don't go to her church. But I love that church. I love that pastor. And so when she shares what's going on there, it's so awesome and it's always so timely because it's exactly what's going on
incredible.
in my life. And her son, who's so awesome, constantly sends me they record them. They record the
He sends them to you every Sunday.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
They record them and he sends them to me. And so I always have them in my messenger. I always have the new ones. And so it is so sweet and so thoughtful. And so I know that whenever I want to go listen to something, listen to, the latest sermon or whatever, I always have them. Even if I'm not physically there, I still have the word.
Yeah.
So I think that is really, really cool. And what I want to say is not only does God work through her for me, but I also feel like if you pay attention, you will notice when God shows up for you.
Oh.
Because what I actually realized, it's funny, I was having dinner with a friend last week and I was telling her about the ghosting thing. I was telling her about it. And in the middle of me telling her, I said to her, it's so interesting. I did get a little annoyed and offended, but at the same time,
it hurts.
It does still hurt.
It's a form of rejection.
But at the same time, I had said to her, but you know what? I did it. I'm the one that did it because I'm the one that asked God to remove them if they weren't meant to be there.
That's right.
And so then I thought to myself, oh, so it was really me clearing the way. So now I can't be mad.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That's
so,
awesome. I
so
love that.
I would encourage anybody that's out there, because this is where you're going to feel like it's a really, really big test. If there is anybody in your life, whether it's a current relationship, somebody that you're trying to get into a relationship with a boss, a job, anything in your life, if you are afraid to pray that prayer, you already know there's a problem.
Yeah.
If you are afraid to say, God, if this is not from you, make it very clear and remove it from my life immediately, whatever way you see fit. If you are afraid, I will repeat myself. If you are afraid to say those words, you already know what needs to happen. Now, for me, it happens however he saw fit. And this is where I have to say, darn it, I didn't. I'm bummed, but I also know that it's for my highest and best. And so then I have to say, thank you for that.
If you're not praying that prayer and you're not there yet, you're probably going to get yourself into a pickle.
Right.
And it's not going to work out anyway in the end because you're not where you need to be. I'm about to share a really deep story of surrender. And it was when my mom was in the hospital and we knew that there was nothing else that could be done. And we needed to get her moved into hospice. And this was the end of life, 24-hour a day care. And they had to have a DNR signed in order to get her moved there. Well, she was refusing to sign it. And I wasn't begging her to sign it because I wasn't ready. I didn't want her to go. I wanted to try another round of chemo and see if that might shrink it, but it was just making her so sick, and we just decided that it wasn't the best thing for her. And then this nurse came in, and I'm going to say I had not seen him, and we'd been in the hospital for 2 weeks, and I never saw him again. And I'm about to cry. I'm getting a lump in my throat. But my sweet little mom was sitting there, laying there in her bed, and this angel came in and he held her hand and he said, God started your heart on May the 7th, 1940. So this DNR is just a way for a human to block what God wants to do, because God picks when your heart starts and he picks when your heart stops. And I just felt this wave of warmth. I felt Jesus holding me and telling me to let go. He's got it. It's given me goosebumps because, and my mom signed the DNR, and we got to move her that day to the hospice, and it was the most beautiful, serene place. And this is another God moment in that whole equation, because I was praying for God to help us get mom into a beautiful place that we could be fully ourselves and come and go. And I found this place, and I just was like, there's absolutely no way. And then the next day, a rep came from that place, and it was like the Red Seas were parted, and that's where we got to take mother. Mm-hmm. And it was so nice because when the paramedics were moving her, they were like, man, your daughters must love you so much because they got you in the very best place in the country to take care of you. And anyway, if you surrender in all categories, in your love life, with your children, with your parents that maybe you're taking care of, and you've got to surrender that, because God does start our hearts and stops our hearts. So he does everything in between if we give it to him. Mm-hmm. It's so powerful. And it does bring you the peace, love, and joy into your spirit, into your soul, into your heart, into your mind. And you're human. You're going to have moments of anxiety, but that's the moment that you can say, I trust you, Jesus. I trust you. You take your mind and whatever it is that you're thinking, and you take control of it immediately, and you change it.
Yep. And it works. It absolutely works. When you feel anxious, you say, just take this from me, and I will surrender it, and I will release it, and whatever happens, happens, because I know you got me.
Yep.
And honestly, you have no idea.
Laying in the palm of his hands.
You have no idea how much better you feel. And let me tell you, there is a lot going on in our lives, and I don't have a clear picture of what the next step is. I don't. At the same time, I'm at such peace because I'm right there with you. I am right there with you, just thinking, look, I trust you. I know there's a greater plan. I don't want to have to death grip every step of the way.
I don't either.
And there's a poem. I think it's a Martin Luther King poem, and it's about not knowing. You don't have to know. All you need to do is the first step. You don't have to see the whole staircase.
Nope.
You just have to see the first step, and that's it. I have found so much comfort in that, because you don't have to plan it all. You don't have to know what's going to happen 5 or 10 years down the road. You don't.
It wouldn't matter even if you did plan the next 5 or 10 years down the road.
It's not going to happen the way you thought anyway.
It is not going to happen. I mean, guys, I didn't think. I'm so thankful, though, that my life has worked out the way it is, because I've got my beautiful children. What was that thing you heard the other day that you sent me? That you might not have been with the right man.
Oh, yes. Oh, it was so beautiful. I was going on my walk in my neighborhood, and this post came up, and it was this girl. I'm on Instagram a lot, and so I like a lot of the content. But of course, I have a lot of like really great uplifting motivational stuff. And so this girl said, even though you may have been married to the wrong partner, just know that you always get the right kids that were meant for you.
Yeah.
And man, I had to stop. I was in the middle of the street, and I just stopped at that moment.
Well, it changes everything, because I have people ask me all the time, if you could change something in your life, would you? And the answer to that is absolutely not, because I want my kids. I want my 3 boys that I've got. So if I changed that, I wouldn't have them.
Right.
And I find it difficult to breathe without them.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that they belong to God. And if something happens to one of them, then that's an area of surrender also.
Right.
And there have been moments in each one of their lives that I've had to surrender and just go, man, I'm going to pray hard. I'm going to beg you to protect them, because they've gone through the teen years. And my grandma called it Fool's Hill, like from the age of 15 until you're like 25 or 26.
Prefrontal cortex is missing.
Yeah, especially in boys. But I was really stupid in my 20s as well, so I can't just put that on boys. But it's really a miracle that we survived the Fool's Hill years of our lives. Yeah. And we all make stupid mistakes in our 20s.
But you're right when you say that, and it's through the healing journey that I have been on that I have realized also no matter what you do, with your kids, things will always happen in a way that you don't expect it to.
Yep.
And your job is to be there, to be loving, to be supportive. Your job is not to control and to manipulate and to make them do what you want them to do and to make them be who you want them to be. That's not the job, because they're not yours, really.
They're not.
They're really God's.
They're on loan.
Yes. And so.
And you do need to be a good steward with them. And
Yep,
I think
absolutely.
that all parents do feel like they failed
Yeah.
at some things. And I know clearly that I did, but man, I love my kids. Still love them.
And believe me, my kids' lives are not the way that I pictured that they would be. I would have never chosen divorce for them. I would have never chosen some of the experiences that they have been through. And at the same time, I have to say, but I trust you, God, that your plan is unfolding the way that you expected, that you wanted it to, and everything will still be okay.
Yeah. One of my kids, he was going through a really hard time, and I was trying to control what he was doing and had been for quite a while. And I just realized it was sucking all the creamy goodness out of me. And I had to just hold him and say, I can't help you. I can't do this for you. Mm-hmm. But there is absolutely nothing in this world or beyond this world, this universe, that would make me not love you. There's nothing you can do that will make me not love you.
That's what our job is.
That's our job.
That's our job.
That's our job.
Is loving them unconditionally and them knowing that we are by their side to support them.
No matter
what. That's it. That's just it.
Because he was at an age where I couldn't treat him like he was a 5-year-old anymore. But it was heart-wrenching. Mm-hmm. And it was like, what if he dies? What if? And he could have. And we go through it with all of them. So I know that I worried the heck out of my mom. I mean,
yep.
But she loved me anyway. So.
And this is right here, fear, worry, anxiety. I mean, give yourself a break, really.
Yeah, it's called FUD.
Yes.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
I mean, all the things that we put ourselves through. And it's funny because we were having a conversation with a friend of ours in the building, and typically Julz goes dark real quick.
Oh, I go.
And so we always talk about that.
If I can't get a hold of one of my kids, they are absolutely dead in a ditch. They've been shoved in a trunk of a car. And
okay. However, this is the opportunity where you're going to surrender and you're going to let go and let God. No, but seriously.
But now I do stalk them because I have all their locations on my phone, so I can see them driving down the road.
But just so that you can live your life with a little bit more peace. I mean, yes, we're still going to worry. We're human. It's not perfect.
Right.
Not every day, not every minute of every day is going to be perfect. But if you can literally 1% every day reduce the fear, the worry, the uncertainty, the anxiety, you will have a happier life.
Yep.
And you will enjoy the journey so much more.
Well, worry and fear and doubt is, I'm just going to say it. We can call him the enemy, but it's Satan. It's his favorite thing to use against you, to weaken you and wear you down. Because if you are so consumed with worry and fear and doubt and anxiety and all those things, you are no good to anybody.
And you won't, you won't move forward.
You can't even get up and go take a walk. It makes you to where it'll kill you. It literally can eat you away. And there's another scripture in the Bible in Philippians, and it says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. And then don't forget to thank God for his answers. If you surrender and you give it to him, he will fix it. He will. And it's not going to be in your time, but he always does it right at the right time.
Yeah, that's the kicker right there. It's not going to be on your time.
Not immediate. And you're hanging on by a thread.
You're hanging on by a thread, but it's not. Boom. It is not your plan.
It is not.
It is not your plan, but it is always a better plan.
Just think of yourself surrendering, and you're on a lazy river, and then all of a sudden something wonderful falls into your lap, and then you go down a little bit, and then another. You get into that flow that Pastor Mike at our church was talking about on Sunday. Just allow yourself to get into God's flow.
Yep. So I'm in the season of flow
Me
right
too.
now. And I mean, really, that's the goal moving forward, right? Always just be in the season of flow. And, I do trust that whatever happens, happens. I have a lot of big plans for me, and I'm also flexible because the thing is that the plans that I have for me, I actually expect them to be even better.
Oh, yeah.
Because of what you think of what you want for yourself. If you get out of your own way and you get out of God's way, and actually it'll be better than you expected.
Yeah, what's that cute little picture? It's got Jesus sitting there with that
I love
little
it.
girl.
So there's this little girl. Oh, I hope y'all have seen this.
Yeah,
There's a little
if not,
girl.
go Google it.
Yes,
The picture of Jesus with the little girl and teddy bears.
Yes, so the little girl is holding a teddy bear, and
it's
Jesus,
tiny.
Tiny. So that's a little girl, and then in front of her, Jesus has a enormous, huge teddy bear behind his back.
He's telling her that she can't have the little
Yes,
one.
and he's saying, just give it to me. And it's the little teddy bear. He's saying, just give it to me. And she's like, but I love it, I don't want to let it go. And what he's trying to give her is one that's like 100 times the size of it.
That's what he
But
wants
she has
to do.
But she has to trust.
She has
and
to
she has to
surrender.
release it first.
She has to surrender.
It's the surrender.
Yeah,
It's the
surrender.
Yeah.
Let go and let God.
Yep. Let go and let God. I think we need to, right there.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
That's
well,
all.
Thank
It's
you all.
good.
Thank you all for joining us today. This was such a topic that for both of us was stirring up inside us, and we're like, that's it. We need to
Yep.
talk about that.
Yep.
So if you have any comments, any feedback, or any other topics that you want us to talk about, go ahead and include them in the description box in the comment section below. And if you want to have a conversation with us, you can shoot us an email directly. It comes to us. We read the emails. hello@bettyandjulz.com. BETTE.
And JULZ.
Until the next time, we have loved every minute of this episode and every single episode that we have done so far. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.